Alright, hi everybody. Today we're going to build the 4 wheels on the base of this clawbot here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my PDF that I'm working off of that shows me all the directions, the clawbot instructions, and I'm going to get the pieces that I need. Now I modified this just a little bit because of the spacing that I had on the frame. So I modified it from the directions here just a tad. But let me go ahead and start placing my parts here. So the first thing I need is I need the parts that are actually in the gear to motor that I built the other day. So I'm going to grab some of these parts here. I'm not going to use the same shaft, but I am going to use the same size gear, and then I'm going to use the shaft collars and the spacer there as well, so that my gears have the same spacing all across the board. So let me first grab those. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to pull down the list on the left hand side here. I am going to select the things that I need now. I need the shaft collar, so I need one of those. I need the 60-tooth gear. I need the spacer. I need the other shaft collar. And I'm just going to hit Control C to copy those, and now I'm going to hit Control V close to the area that I'm going to be working. I'll just paste them right here. Now they still have constraints on them, so I need to actually remove some of these constraints. You can see that the spacer and that the shaft collar go with each other, and I don't want that to happen, so I'll place those constraints again later. So I'm going to select my spacer, pull down the arrow here, and just delete the insert. I don't need this insert anymore, so I'm going to right click on it and delete. So I don't need the again, the insert constraint there. I don't need the insert constraint for the shaft collar, so I'm going to delete that one as well. And again, I just click on it, right click, and hit delete. And that'll give me my shaft collar, my 2 shaft collars, my gear, and my spacer. So if I look at my instructions here, there's another spacer that I need, and I need a wheel, and then I need a shaft. Now the shaft I modified a little bit. I'm going to make it a little bit longer to accommodate the extra spacer that I put in. So let me scroll up here and show you what I'm looking at. Let's see where it's at, right there. So I need this spacer right here, the 4.8, and the sizing's a little bit different, but I'll show you which one that is. And then I think I have everything else. I have my extra spacer that I'm going to place in between the 60-tooth gear and this frame here, and then I have my 2 shaft collars as well. So let me go ahead and place the things that I need. I need to place a wheel, and let me find that. It's in wheels. So I'm going to use the 4-inch diameter wheel and hit open. Now this gave me a problem earlier when I tried placing it, and you just have to find the hub part that it was asking about if you're using the same file system that I am. Now I need to place another spacer, so washers and spacers, and it's this 0.19 inch. I think the other one was in millimeters. So you need the 0.19 inch there, so I'm going to place that spacer. You need that one, and then I need my last shaft there. So let me see where those are at, and I kind of forgot, so let me look. Drive shafts right there. 4-inch is what I need, and that'll give me a little bit of overhang when I begin to construct that drive shaft. So on this side of the bot, I need a shaft collar and I need my drive shaft. So I'm going to place my shaft collar on my drive shaft and then use my shaft collar to place my shaft through that bearing flat there. So I'm going to use a constraint, insert constraint, zoom in on the drive shaft here, and then place that right here. Now I'm going to select aligned because I want the shaft and the shaft collar to be lined up like this, so that tightening screw can tighten down on there. Hit apply. I'm going to do an angle constraint while I'm at it, directed angle, and get the top of this shaft collar and the top of this shaft here so that they turn together, and hit apply. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do another constraint, do the insert constraint, rotate this around, grab the inside edge here, and then grab the outside edge right here. So that'll place that shaft collar right up against the frame there. And so that'll allow the shaft to rotate, and we can look at that. And when the shaft rotates, you also see the shaft collar rotate as well. So those two are together. Now I need my spacer, and I am actually going to use a measurement with my spacer because I want to demote this part. I want to make sure everything on the shaft stays together as one piece. So I'm going to place the shaft or the spacer on the shaft here, and then I'm going to make it aligned and hit apply. Now I want to get my inspect tool and measure the distance from the inside of this spacer and the outside of this frame here, because I want those two ends to mesh together. So I'm going to right click on 2.444 and copy that, and then I am going to find my insert constraint on my spacer. So I have my spacer right here, and wait, wrong spacer. Let me find it. That's the one. It's highlighting over along outside of the browser, so that's the one I need. I'm going to double click on that and hit Control V to paste in my space. Now I like a little bit of freedom between this frame and the spacer. Otherwise, when you go to analyze interface, you might see like a hairline red area that shows that those two are actually overlapping, and that we don't want that. So I just edited that just a little bit, so I'm going to hit again Control V. I'm going to change this to 0.443 and just give me that hair space, and that'll align that spacer right up to the frame there. Now I can line everything on this spacer because it is part of this shaft now. So I'm going to go back to assemble, constrain, or push C on my keyboard, and then do this circle area here and the circle area on my spacer there. Now I'm going to zoom in. I need to do an angle constraint, and this is hard to see, but hopefully you can see it on your computer as well. If you zoom in, it's this flat edge right here that I'm going to use for my angle constraint right here. So that's on the plastic gear there. So I'm going to click on that, and I am going to go directed angle, and then I think I did something wrong here. Hold on one second. So I'm going to hit cancel. Oh, I didn't finish my previous constraint. So let me do an insert constraint, grab this end here, and hit apply. Now I'm going to do my angle constraint. Let me see if I can grab that angle. I might have to turn it. So let me turn it, and this is where C comes in handy to bring up your constraint window again. So I'm going to hit C if it does it for me. Yeah, it's not doing it for me, but there you go. So I'm going to bring it back up, do a directed angle, zoom in, grab this inside edge here of the gear, and then I'm going to grab the outside edge, or the outside edge of that shaft. That'll line those two together, hit apply, and then hit exit. Now I need a spacer, the black spacer. Where to go? Right there. So I'm going to place that one now. And again, we did the directed angle so that the gear turns with the shaft. I'm going to do an insert constraint on the bearing, or the spacer there, hit apply, and now I need my wheel. The wheel's a little tricky because it has a rounded edge here, and I'm going to solve that problem by doing a little bit of an offset there, but try to show you how I do this. So I'm going to grab the outside edge here, and you notice that it doesn't really grab towards the outside, it just grabs right there. There's another thing that I can do that I might show you later, but you can actually do a 3D model and create a sketch, and then use that sketch's edge to kind of place that. But I'm going to use that part of the wheel, and we'll see where that is and see if there's any overhang there. I don't see any overhang. That might sit flush, so it's the inside edge right there that I'm using. Let me show you that again. Right inside edge right there, and that should give me enough space here so I don't have any overlap. So that's going directly on the wheel. and it looks like it's lining up okay. So I'm going to hit apply, and then I'm going to check the interface between those before I do my angle constraint. So I'm going to analyze the interface between this and my spacer and see if there's any interface there. The interfaces, they turn red, and I know the wheel has some interface issues, but it looks like the spacer, where I place that on the wheel, it doesn't look like there's any interface issue. It actually looks like we have a little bit of space there, which is okay. There's a little bit of space. It's a little bit of freedom there. Now I'm going to go to assemble. I'm going to do my angle constraint now, directed angle. I'm going to zoom in on my wheel, and just like the gear, it's a little hard to see. So I'm going to get the inside right here, and that's the inside angle I need. And again, that was hard to see, so let me do that again at a different angle so you guys can see it on your computer screens. So it's right there. So I'm going to zoom in. It's right there. There is a tool that you can use that I need to look up again that allows you to see these edges a little bit clearer. So no, don't do that. Let me go back to 1. I'm going to select that angle, go to 2, so selections 2, and select this angle of my shaft, and that should align those two, and it aligns them perfectly. Hit apply, okay, and so that is done. Now I'm going to find my shaft collar and do an insert constraint on that. Click on the outside, zoom in. Now here's another tricky area. I need to get that inside ring, and that's kind of hard to grab with this. So let me see if I can find it. If I can't find it, I'll use the outside ring, and then just do an offset to keep that space. So I'm going to use the outside ring. And again, if it goes inside the wheel like that, you can just switch the solution here from aligned to opposite, or opposite to aligned, and that places that right there. So now I want to check inspect this, make sure there's no overlap between the wheel and that. Wait on this. And there's a slight overlap, so let me show you how to fix that. I could try activating solver and see if that fixes it, but let me select the 2 here and activate solver. Maybe it'll fix it, maybe it won't. I don't think it does. Let me try this now. So drive shaft, shaft collar, grab the shaft collar, grab this, and just do an offset here, and we want that probably 0.1 maybe. No, that's too far, so let's go 0.01. Hit enter. Oh, that's good. I think that'll look good, and that will give us no problem with overlap. Maybe a little less there, maybe 0.005. Hit the check mark, yeah, and that scoots it in a little bit more. Now let me analyze interface again, so I'm going to select that, hold down control, select the wheel, see if there's any overlap between those two parts again. There's a slight overlap, so let's make it, so this is the last step. That's why I'm kind of taking my time showing you how analyze interface works, and then I'll learn some of the activate contact solver and see how that works as well. So I'll have to look up a tutorial on that one. And analyze interface. Still too much, or too little, so I can go a little bit more here. We'll go to 8.5, sure. Did that do it? Yeah. Put on control, select both those, analyze interface, see if there's still an overlap. There is. Okay, I'll switch it back to 0.01. Delete that, check that. Select that, hold down control, analyze interface. It should be beginning with 0.01. still giving it to me. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. We're almost done with this video. So, I still have a little bit of an overhang there. Let's go to 3D model, start 2D sketch, find the plane that I want to cut from. So I'm going to cut on this plane here. And I'm actually going to cut the shaft here. So let me find it again. Zoom in, rectangle select, just select over the top of that, hit finish sketch, and then we're going to cut it to the bearing there. So go to extrude, and that extrudes that in, and we can actually go extrude to, and we can select the face of this, and that should extrude to that next face, but it looks like it's going to give me a problem here. Is it? Or is it going to work? Not responding. Hold on. There it goes. It worked. We're good. Just my computer needed a little bit of time. Alright, so I'm going to save that. Yes to all. Okay, okay. Now I have my wheel, my gears, so we're set there. And then I'm going to demote this wheel and use the opposite, the shaft collar on the opposite side to constrain it and make it all 4 of my wheels on my base. And I don't know why it's taking so long to save. So let me show you demotion real quick here again. Click on that first shaft collar, hold down control, select this one, select the wheel, again holding down control, hold down control, select that, that, and that, and hold down shift and select the shaft collar, hold down control, select that, and we are good. So I'm going to push tab, and this is going to be my wheel to base assembly. That works. I'm going to make sure I select the place I want to put that, and I don't want it in chassis rails. I'll probably put it with my wheels. So we'll put it in my wheels folder here, save it, hit save, okay, and related to save, that's okay. So we'll keep that, and I am done. Then I can just copy this, and I'll show you how I paste it on this side. Paste, and again I'm going to use the edge of that shaft collar, so I'm going to go to constraint, insert constraint, and grab the edge of this here, and then grab the inside edge right here, hit apply, and now I have the 2 wheels on that side. I can cut that shaft as well, and we're finished. So I'm going to save this, okay, and I'll work on the rest of the wheels as well as you guys need to work on the rest of the wheels. It's just copying and pasting and then doing that insert constraint, and we're done. So thank you.